One more game to go. It is the Overwatch Open. We're back in North America and we've got ourselves another quarter-final. This one seems to have raised a couple of eyebrows to everyone, as they were not expecting to see SODIPOP get this far. Undeniable underdogs, however, we've seen underdogs thrive before, yet last week we got to see Liquid besting the boys of TSM. It was a wild ride, and we've seen more of that as well. I mean, the fact that Misfits were the first team to qualify may have surprised some, considering the caliber of European teams that were present. They did it in week 1 as well. This is week 3 of the Overwatch Open, and it's always going to be good to remind you guys of how this format of this entire thing does work. I'm getting new viewers in all the time, new people to Overwatch, new players, new competitors, potentially, and the information I'm about to throw at your face will help you understand what is going down in Chinatown. 256 teams are available. We've managed to get even higher every single week. More and more of you guys have been signing up at FACEIT.com, and we love it. The top teams do manage to qualify to get themselves to the playoffs. The playoff winners get themselves a spot at the live finals at the E-League Arena in Atlanta. We get that whole EU versus North America that any esports fan will be familiar with. I do love the competition. Alongside that, I talk about winners. Let me show you the leaderboards. This is for North America. Now, Misfits on Europe did get the top spot in the first week. Now you find Envy, undeniable best team in the world, already picked up that spot nice and quickly in week 1. Following that, we saw Cloud9, a team that have been battling for that top spot since the inception of the team and the roster, and they picked up that spot in the second. Who will join them in the third? We're about to find out, of course, on to Sunday. For now, though, we have to see who can get to the semis. Currently, we've already seen Liquid secure the spot, and following that, we're going to see if it's FNATIC or SODIPOP to join them. Gentlemen, I have to introduce you. It's Jurasar and ZP standing by for the final cast of the evening. Let's talk about this one. SODIPOP, the underdogs. FNATIC, undeniable favourites. First, let's focus on the favourites. Why are FNATIC coming to this as such hot favourites?
First of all, you look at the recent results, have been coming out very strong, pushing very good results against some of the top teams in the game, including one of their recent sets against C9. So that alone, that definitely helps. But you look a little bit deeper into why are they doing so well right now. They just have a lot of talent on their team. Players like CoolMatt, incredibly well respected in the comp community, and now that they've just had more time as a team, they've gotten past their initial Newburst days, picked up by FNATIC. Their gelling has really started the show, and they have become a threat to the top teams in the game. Something that right now, SODIPOP, I don't think is quite there yet.
Yeah, can we just highlight as well how cool Matt69's name is, John?
Yes.
Like, that needs some acknowledgement, right?
I think
so cool.
So cool.
He was so cool. Basically, he was called Matt69 for a while, and his mum kept telling him, "You are super cool, Matt." And he was like, "You're right. That sounds better."
He needed the encouragement, and then he ran with it, because in the beta, CoolMatt69 really stuck out to me as one of the best McCree players in the world. Okay, today there might be, in fact, there are, to be perfectly honest, there are so many good McCree players, but CoolMatt69 really stuck out to me all the way back in the old days, and it's always a pleasure to watch him play. But more importantly, now that there is actually so much high-level competition for that kind of place on someone's roster, when he shines, it actually just makes it that much more important.
And this isn't a topic we haven't had an opportunity to breach, so I'm going to run with that. I'm going to pull that thread. About the idea of players coming from the closed beta and now, of course, it being an openly released game. Have you seen those names stick around, or has there already been some new faces emerging? I mean, I'll open this to both of you. Like, how many of those names that were king of the closed beta are still hanging about at the top of the game?
There's been turnover. There's no doubt about it. There has been turnover. But the people that were always at the very top, the people that you looked at and said, "Oh my goodness, these people are clearly a cut above," they've still been a cut above. Tailspin, of course, comes to that mind. Seagull, of course, both on his stream, and for NRG, a huge favorite. Some players have not quite stayed up there as time has gone on. And I'm not going to name and shame here, but if you look closely at the rosters, there has been change-ups, and some players have faded out of the scene as time has gone on. So all in all, I would say that there is some carryover. The very best from beta are probably still around, but some people that were more middle of the road, they've been fading away.
And that's what's interesting as well, is just how quickly people are rising through the ranks. I mean, this is week 3. Who knows? A new face, a new name will crop up in week 4. Already I'm seeing players getting sniped from the top ranks. If you're a top rank, now people are going, hang on, do you want to, we're looking for a new player, we need a hit scan player, whatever, and they're poaching. The maps are on screen, John. I do want to make sure we have an opportunity to address them. I'll let you walk us through.
Well, Dorado, Ilios, and Kings Row are going to be the maps for this particular best of 3, and I think that's actually a great point to bring up as well. A lot of the players who maybe haven't been there or thereabouts in the first stage of the beta really coming together and gelling a lot more now. The best example I can think of from EU that may or may not draw some parallels with FNATIC, I'll leave you guys to decide.
Sure.
Maybe Anox with the Cooler and Cypher, of course, legendary names. But at the same time, over the course of week 1 and 2 of the Overwatch Open, we actually saw them really come together and give the top teams a big challenge. So, I don't know. I mean, the roster from FNATIC have been around for a long time. I'm not saying they weren't known in Overwatch before now, so they've got the nice history behind them as well. But I feel like the better they gel together, just the stronger the punch is going to be.
Well, if I had to nominate a player that really came out of nowhere and really propelled a team to greatness, let's take a look at what's going on with Graviton Surge, of course now Misfits, and their pickup of Zapri. Zapri was not a name that was well known in beta, and Zapri was able to go in and catapult that team from sort of top 8, not really threatening the top EU teams, to being arguably the best EU team. So if I had to nominate someone that sort of came out of nowhere, it would be Zapri. Now, I don't know if he came in just at release or got in later on in the beta, but he wasn't someone that was making a whole lot of waves early on in the Overwatch scene.
How about Kib? Kib was also really fantastic as well in terms of a pickup.
Yeah, Kib wasn't too bad in throwing him in.
Yeah, really nice. So hopefully we'll get more and more players that maybe weren't just, oh yeah, these guys played in the beta, therefore they're transferring over. It's great to see new talent basically pour onto the scene and hopefully start joining the ranks of some of the top teams as well.
Yeah. It will be coming. I honestly have no doubt that, like, you give it what? I always like to try and put myself in holes. Let me think about this. So, like, I reckon 3 to 6 months is like, whew, okay, composure. It is getting late. Yeah, I'd say about 3 to 6 months, and you're going to see a rapid turnover of new names rising through it. I mean, especially because, and you're seeing examples. I mean, AZK, a prime example. I'm just trying to think of the last game we saw of other FPS skills transferring directly into Overwatch. He's picked it up, and he's picked it up so rapidly. He looks very influential. I mean, I do love that we're seeing these names from absolutely everywhere cropping up. I do want to know if there's any chance for SODIPOP to win this one, guys. You know, I like to look for my silver linings, and you guys doubted Liquid versus TSM. In fact, it was a 2-0 TSM predictions across the board. What would you have to say for SODIPOP?
Oh, well,
Try, John, try.
I think this would potentially be the largest upset of the evening, but we have already had 2 matches that went 2-0 in the opposite direction.
Yes,
that we would predict on paper. And that's happened across EU and NA today already so far. Is this going to be a bigger upset than that if it happens? Absolutely. Is it mathematically impossible? Well, no.
Well, you know your maths.
I would say that if there's any path for SODIPOP to do that, it's probably going to go through Grim Reality. We just saw in the last game what can happen when a McCree goes off and has a really good game by Clockwork, where he really elevated all of Splice by proxy. Grim Reality is a very good McCree. It's going to be difficult for him to just run roughshod over a team with the hit scan caliber of FNATIC. Of course, you have players like IDD, QD that are also great McCree specialists. You have Cool Matt, who, even though he's been flexing more the tanks and all the rest, still has a lot of great decision-making and Twitch skill with that. So I think it's just going to be harder for SODIPOP to have one player go and carry it. But if there is a scenario where SODIPOP wins, it probably comes from Grim Reality just going off and having a ridiculous game.
And then we start talking about McCree. And then I ask you, he has been constantly changed. Like, he has probably received some of the most changes within the Overwatch heroes, always being kind of tinkered with. We've seen, you know, a lot of changes initially to his Fan of the Hammer. Now we're seeing his actual active range change constantly. Do you think the fact that he is almost an insta-lock as, like, the main damage dealer, he is too strong?
I think right now it's up in the air. There's certainly points where teams will not run a McCree. Instead, they'll run, like we saw a little bit earlier, where teams will sometimes even mix in a Roadhog or a McCree from time to time. Not as much as before, and they won't always go for it. So it's a little bit in flux. I think the problem is with a hero like McCree is that you're always going to be stuck in the scenario where in the hands of a good player, he's amazing. It's hit scan. It's point and shoot. So long as you're being accurate, he's absolutely insane. But on the same note, you can't nerf him into the ground to a point where suddenly people on the lower end can't get any value off him whatsoever. So it's a back and forth. He hasn't quite been 100% pick rate after the recent changes that brought his newly buffed range a little bit more in the focus. So I think right now it's a watch and see. I don't think it's a must nerf now immediately situation.
As opposed to, like we said, the current, you know, support meta just being 2 heroes. That's a different discussion altogether. The fact that you must have your Lucio and your Zenyatta, that will not change. Would you assume, John, until we see, you know, something encouraging the Mercies to return, encouraging the other support heroes, Anna perhaps to kind of burst more onto the scene?
Yeah, the support heroes in Overwatch play such a pivotal role.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, at the point where their ultimates absolutely make or break the entirety of a team fight, that's the point where you say, yeah, we can't really go without these guys. Mercy is the next one along on the grounds that Rez just plays such an important decision. But right now, if you get an Honor or Mercy, it's in addition to what's already there as opposed to replacing.
I don't know about you guys, I'm feeling the music. This is making me ready to dive into some Overwatch. It's the final one of the night, and as you can see, the evening setting on Dorado. It is here too in the London studios. Your casters are none other than Jurasar and ZP. It's going to be a big one.
All right, so moving into Dorado for map number 1. SODIPOP has it all to do against FNATIC here. We have seen upsets before, and we hope that there is potential for this now, but we wait and see. In just under a minute, we will be getting underway. Jur is going to be playing Lucio. Grim Reality, I'm sure you're going to be looking forward to the ZP on McCree. Nomi will be on Reinhardt. Agility's on Roadhog. Hype on Zenyatta. And finally, Hyped is going to be rounding things off with Zarya.
Yep, Hype and Hype both on the same team. Seeing both McCree and Roadhog on defense, a little bit more traditional, brings us a little bit further back on Dorado. Meanwhile, taking a look here at the FNATIC side of things, it is going to be Buds on, at least right now, he's showing offensive Junkrat, which, I mean, we've seen some stuff like this from time to time. It's not super traditional. Might happen, though. Cool Matt, look at Zarya, very likely to stay. Stoop on the Winston. IDD QD showing early tracers, so a little bit interesting setup here. We haven't seen teams mix in offensive tracer a little bit more on payload. IDD QD, of course, a great tracer. Usually we see him on McCree as a McCree specialist, but that's been the role right now, where your players that on McCree are very often will switch off to something like a tracer, but Buds right now will be switching to the Genji in the end. That makes a little bit more sense.
IDD already being incredibly mobile to start things off with, looking potentially for a very quick flank on Flacer down the steps on the right-hand side as well. There you see him. Agility's looking to try and hook him on Roadhog. Very, very dangerous, of course. Getting that hook in on Tracer completely negates the threat there from IDD early on, so they do have to be a little bit careful. SODIPOP at the moment, though, doing okay. FNATIC looking for ways to get into the marketplace.
Yeah, FNATIC right now. Teams on the first point attack on Dorado don't always have to blitz in. They can wait for the opportunity, but Winston right now will be leaping right in, trying to punish the defense for going up those stairs. Stoop able to take out Hype as a result. His leap in was true on Zenyatta. He's going to die for it, but IDD gets the backline, gets the fall through on the Grim Reality. It's 3-1 right now in favor of FNATIC, and slowly but surely they are opening up the SODIPOP team and setting up for more. Yeah,
the SODIPOP being pulled in multiple directions right now by a FNATIC team that are incredibly mobile. Stoop is able to jump in on a moment's notice. IDD oh, and Buds getting a kill each right now, and they are being peeled apart. More importantly, the SODIPOP lineup here is going one at a time, so regrouping and pushing out to sort of regroup is just extremely difficult for them right now as FNATIC move on to the second point.
Well, FNATIC, they were able to capture that pretty darn quickly. Cool Matt able to chain a kill on the Grim Reality. He was trying to be a little bit aggro, was punished for it in turn. They're going to be down one of their very best players here on the defense. Not a great look here for SODIPOP. And you take a look at what's going into the next fight right now. Buds does have Dragon Blade at the ready. Stoop, Primal Rage, Custa on the Transcendence. So a lot of good things to say about FNATIC going into this next fight. SODIPOP's going to have to dig deep because they will be at a disadvantage.
Buds looking for opportunities, trying to pop in. He spots Reinhardt. Roadhog actually almost getting a word in edgeways as he gets onto the platform. No engage yet coming from the guys. Agility's taking a little bit of damage, but nothing he can't handle. And now we have everybody moving down. Sound Barrier going to be starting things off for SODIPOP. They need to make this happen. FNATIC have had a great start so far. Graviton Surge coming in. Coolmat 69 getting a lot of damage done. Agility's with one kill, but we have Transcendence coming out. That's basically going to protect the team. Buds getting a kill off in the background. Is that with Dragon Blade? It looks like it is.
Yep, Buds is in the backline. IDD with him, the double flanker into the backline, slowly picking apart SODIPOP from the back. Ultimates were exchanged in the front line, but neither team suffering mortal damage from it in the beginning. IDD now slowly getting the last little bits that he needs here. Again, it's nothing flashy, just good harassment in the backline, and that is going to drop enough members of SODIPOP here to let them get the next checkpoint, as Lucio right now just running, looking for a lifeline, and will be going down in the end. So FNATIC right now saying a blazingly fast time here in Dorado. Still under 3 minutes, about to go into the third minute, but this is quite rough right now for SODIPOP.
It very much is. Right now, we need to see I mean, we've seen teams on Dorado before get to the final point, and then suddenly the great defense out of nowhere stalls for 4 or 5 minutes. But it has to happen now for SODIPOP. They cannot stop now. Stoop coming in with the bubble to start the engagement. Tesla Cannon doing wonders, but unfortunately, it's through the shield of Reinhardt, and Grim Reality will be able to get the double kill there. Very, very crucial couple of picks coming from SODIPOP. They're now going to be playing 6v4.
Well, Grim Reality coming alive really for the first point in this game. He has been getting isolated quite a bit. On a triple kill right now, takes out Buds. A little bit of life here for SODIPOP, and let's talk about keys to SODIPOP's victory here for the next fight. Certainly in terms of ultimates, they will have Earthshatter and Graviton, but look at what's going on for FNATIC. They have Graviton into Primal Rage, into Pulse Bomb, Transcendence, and Sound Barrier. So FNATIC, they have all sorts of ways of winning this next fight, and it might just come down to the tried and true between Graviton and the Pulse Bomb.
Graviton Pulse Bomb is going to be very dangerous. Bear in mind, a lot of the fights so far in this series have been basically quite spread out and a series of individual engagements where you get individual picks. That's not the ideal breeding ground for a good Pulse Bomb, but Graviton can potentially change that. The collapse coming in onto the point now, and we have Lucio moving on in with the Sound Barrier. Still 4 ultimates available for SODIPOP. Nomi getting extremely low, but not dying just yet. Bud's finally getting the kill off on him. Coolmat69 still has ultimate available, but IDDQD has gone down now, and this is going to be difficult for FNATIC to hold. There is the Graviton Surge. We're trying to get the sustained damage. Agility's Endure, though, absolutely clean up by Coolmat with the triple. He turns that around very quickly indeed.
Coolmat was his own follow-up there. He had an opportunity to actually win that fight on his own. He went... It's one of those things where I still think it wasn't the greatest idea that Graviton while IDDQD was dead.
Yeah.
They could have held off, but Coolmat almost saying, I don't need a team for this, and could have proven himself right, even though it's one of those situations where waiting for IDDQD could have been better. And that's one of those things where they were waiting for that combo. IDDQD unfortunately got picked off earlier in the fight, but Agility's right now making some mistakes, does get picked off by Buds at 65 now in favor of FNATIC. Buds comes in with the Death Blossom, doesn't get what he's looking for. The Graviton comes in here from the defense. Grim Reality on the Deadeye does not get what he's looking for. Still 5v5. FNATIC coming in deep right now.
Here we go. We're trying to finish this off right here, right now. Stu going down early on in the engagement. IDDQD is also gone, which is going to be frustrating, and the support in Vonethil disappears from this team composition as well. SODIPOP defending very well. FNATIC once again reset, being put into airplane mode on this last point here by SODIPOP.
All right, so looking at FNATIC right now, this is a strange switch-up given how things have been going really well for them thus far. They're not going to be setting the blazingly fast time that they were on, and we see Buds right now going the Widowmaker, where historically going Widow on this last point isn't as good, but oh man, he was able to punish Grim Reality. I don't think Grim Reality realized that the switch-up had occurred, and Buds' Gambit has paid off despite the unconventional part of running Widow on this part of Dorado, so it's now a 6v5 in favor of FNATIC. Buds with a second kill, making this work at the moment. 3 kills here for FNATIC. It is 6v3. Grim Reality does get back in the fight, takes out IDDQD, but right now all momentum in the world in favor of FNATIC. And again, the Widowmaker Gambit paying off right now for Buds. Custom with the cleanup here. Buds with the final shot on the Lucio, and this should be a cap for FNATIC very shortly.
Very nice, picking up agilities at the end of that as well, and FNATIC will be able to set a time. Now, FNATIC were blisteringly fast. Let's give credit where it's due. SODIPOP did such a good job to stall out on that final point for so long. Otherwise, they would have been staring down the barrel at a nigh unbeatable time here.
Yeah, for SODIPOP, they at least keep the dream alive. It's still not an enviable time to actually go up against. It's not, no pun intended, the envious, mind you. But it's one of those things where, all right, SODIPOP can live, but they're still going to have trouble. They can't really get stopped too much. And in particular, keys to the game for them, I think they just need to hope to get through point A on the first 3 pushes max. If it goes too much beyond that, they will probably see their luck quickly fading.
I think the words maybe we were looking for that is, it went from a, oh my god, this is going to be incredibly difficult, to actually that was a commendable effort. But they still have a competitive time to beat. They just don't have an impossibly difficult time to beat. That was really cool and really good juking between the two teams, I have to say, on the final point. SODIPOP proving that when they get it together, they are actually a match here for FNATIC, and we might well have a match on our hands. 50 seconds left to go now, and we are just waiting for SODIPOP to get ready on the attack. FNATIC now, we have Stoop, once again going to be playing Reinhardt, IDDQD on McCree, who doesn't like to see that. Coolmat69 will be playing Zarya once again. Buds on Reaper. Custer is going to be picking up Zenyatta, and Vonethil, surprise, surprise, will be on Lucio, so identical.
Right, and take a look here at the SODIPOP offense as it sets up. It's going to be Agilities here on the Genji, Hype on Zenyatta, Jer on the Lucio, Nomi on the Winston, Grim Reality ditching the McCree, picking up Reaper shotguns instead, and Hyped going to be on the offensive Zarya. So the interesting thing coming out here, of course, is that, you know, you don't always see it, but generally speaking, you look at payload maps and how teams run, you'll usually want to run a Reinhardt in most situations. Every now and then, you won't see it, but they're not running a Reinhardt here on Dorado, and we'll see if it works out here for SODIPOP.
Okay, so the map has started proper. SODIPOP looking to try and better the time. Just over 6 minutes remaining for them to do so. FNATIC taking the archway here. Oh no, spotting Nomi coming in early, and Winston may have overextended just a little bit there, instantly getting picked off. Not a good start.
No, at the very least, Winston's pretty good about getting back to fight early, and they have to push up the payload. The biggest penalty that SODIPOP pays there is that they do feed FNATIC's ultimates quite a bit. IDDQD, of course, about to have Deadeye up already. So that's a bit unfortunate, but other than that, it's not going to stop them too much. Next fight, though, will be underway soon. Agility's right now looking for poke, and SODIPOP, again, they don't... Teams take their time on offense here, but they don't have the luxury of staying back too much. And here they go. They're moving right in. Agility's trying to get to the back line. FNATIC just backing up. Really good position coming in from them. IDDQD zones him out with the Deadeye. Agility's was able to get on the Custom, so it's a 65 in favor of SODIPOP right now. They're taking their time. The problem is that they're getting horribly poked down. They had 3 members, very low HP there. FNATIC was able to poke them out. They're lucky they didn't die, as it's now turning to extend poke war that right now FNATIC is winning.
Agilities has got ultimate available as well. Sound barrier coming down for FNATIC, so that gives them a little bit of a boost. Trying to put out SODIPOP, they need to get away. And Graviton Surge actually pinning them to one place. We have as well the Transcendence moving out to try and keep the team alive as FNATIC tried to collapse in upon there. Subin IDDQD going down to Agilities now. He is on a tear. Spots it with the Discord or gets Custer as well. And all of a sudden, SODIPOP, after retreating through the archway there, are now in an incredibly strong position.
Well, that was a great triple kill coming out from Agilities towards the end, and let's talk about the turnabout that happened there. They were stuck in the Graviton. They countered with Transcendence, but they're able to go in with the sound barrier, and as soon as that sound barrier popped, you could tell them immediately going in, rushing over FNATIC like a wave, and they were able to take that team fight.
Very, very nicely played from them, and a really good seizing of the opportunity, really, is how I would describe that from SODIPOP. Fantastic stuff, and really using FNATIC's own momentum against them when they spotted the extension there. And now they're trying to move up onto the high ground. You can see Winston leaping in, Nomi with the bubble to see if it's possible. Oh, and FNATIC moving down. Grim Reality's got that Blossom available. He's going to use it, and Raid Form means Buds is going to be able to get away, and he doesn't actually get any kills before picking off by coolmat69. That was a really good, calm defense there from FNATIC against that.
Yeah, FNATIC was able to deal with it pretty well. Unfortunately, Death Blossom not getting quite as much as they would have liked there. They're still moving up the payload. FNATIC is going to be set up, and Buds right now is one to watch. I think of any Reaper in comp, you usually see Buds getting some of the highest value off of his Death Blossoms. Right now, he's on the high ground. He's looking for his opportunity. He's going to speed right in. Here comes the Tornado, moving right in with that Death Blossom. Does not get what he's looking for. He does force out the Transcendence, though. Yeah. So, at the very least, it's ult for ult there. Stoop right now coming at the fall through, is able to take out Agility, swinging his hammer. Player advantage right now with FNATIC. Here comes the Graviton coming up from coolmat, pulls in the Survivors, kills the Survivors, and Grim Reality gonna have to back out and wait for his team to come back in. And time-wise, for SODIPOP, this is not the best case scenario. They definitely need to get through in the Streets phase. If not on the next push, the push after that. If they get wiped out 2 more times in Streets, that's probably going to be it.
I think you put it exactly right, ZP. At the moment, SODIPOP are not necessarily worried yet, but they do need to do something with the next push or two. 2 minutes, 45 seconds now for them to complete the entirety of the map. Agility's going in, trying to make some of the magic happen. Winston is actually keeping Zarya occupied at the other end, but Buds takes him out with a little bit of help from Reinhardt, and that is not good for a big flanking option. coolmat69 getting 2 kills, and IDDQD following up with a ton of damage as well on McCree, means that SODIPOP will be wasting one of those chances, and I feel like they really do have to push through with the next one.
They absolutely do. They also need Agilities. I guess he did build a Dragon Blade towards the end, but Agilities has had a lot of times where he has been going in off the flank, Sora being the first one in, and FNATIC's been having none of that. They've been punishing him very early, and when your Genji dies early into a fight, the odds of actually turning things in your favor, not great. I mean, Grim Reality great player, but you can't expect them to shoulder that little DPS load.
Exactly right. So hopefully we see some great stuff coming out of Agility so that we can get to the final point here. 5 ultimates available for SODIPOP. FNATIC looking for an opportunity to engage. Coming down from below. Winston moves on up. There's the Graviton Surge, and Transcendence immediately getting popped by FNATIC here. Agility's coming in with the blade, but unfortunately gets absolutely shut down by Deadeye, and a grim reality there. Well, he's getting a couple kills. We have Transcendence coming out now as well from SODIPOP. It's still technically 4v4. Hype and Nomi, though, are going to be able to clear it, and SODIPOP just about managed to break it through, but perhaps not 100% down to Agility. He's pulling it out, though.
No, and one thing that's worth noting there is that I think they might have had Sound Barrier up. They went for the Transcendence instead, which normally is enough for Graviton, but unfortunately, Transcendence, of course, does not stop the Deadeye from getting 2 kills there. It's that set up 2 kills for Grim Reality. Unfortunately, not quite what FNATIC was looking for, but here's the problem here for SODIPOP. Moving in, they are totally drained on ultimates, and they need to move this forward here effectively on this push.
All right, well, we'll see if they can do that. Grim Reality needs to get another couple of kills here, really, if he wants to be able to keep pushing the payload in. It's 50 seconds remaining now, and this is crunch time for SODIPOP. FNATIC are looking to come in and stop this out cold. IDDQ getting the first pickoff on Jerp before they actually pull back, which is really, really good. The players now in frantic mode, to be perfectly honest. FNATIC know they just need to hold on for a little bit longer. Just over 30 seconds now to stop SODIPOP, and they are going in for one final push. But the payload's not moving in the meantime, ZP. Even if they win this team fight, is there enough time?
It's going to be very tight. They need to make something happen right now. They are getting zoned out by Matt, and here's the thing. Matt doesn't really have to care. He has Graviton at the right. The Graviton will be coming out here in just a moment. He's waiting for the opportunity. Graviton does come out, sucks in 3 people. Grim Reality on the Deadeye while on the Graviton will take out 1, but Cool Matt is his own follow-through, gets 2 kills. Custom IDDQD coming right in, and that is going to be it. GGs are called here from the side of SODIPOP, and that's going to be FNATIC taking map 1 in a pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah, that was that was I would say one-sided without necessarily being a stomp, perhaps, because SODIPOP did have moments where they really pushed FNATIC and made sure that they were being kept honest at all times. But like you say, when it came down to it, FNATIC, even if it did, 30 seconds is still a very, very long time in Overwatch, right? So they're able to hold that.
Yeah, they were able to hold it, and for SODIPOP, unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late towards the end, and their attack wasn't all that bad. It's just their defense was such that they didn't really leave themselves with enough time for their attack, because I think they would have been able to finish it out in the end with a respectable time. The problem was that their defense wasn't anywhere near as good, and FNATIC was able to tear through them pretty darn quickly. So end result, SODIPOP 1 game in the hole of FNATIC. FNATIC 1 game away from moving on to day 2.
All right, so we'll be seeing what map is picked next. FNATIC currently 1-0 up against SODIPOP. People, I say, would expect a 2-0 victory, but perhaps SODIPOP complicating things a little bit so that FNATIC don't quite walk away. We're going to be coming back with map number 2 in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. This is the North American portion of the Overwatch Open. We'll see you after the break.